If you've been in the crypto space for a while, you probably know by now that it is filled with some crazy success stories, but also on the opposite side, some pretty horrendous tales. And now, I've learned a couple of very important tricks, some very important guidelines and rules that I obviously will not break anymore now that I've been here for over 10 years, but I still see people who have been here for 4 or 5 years make time and time again. Every single day, some people are commenting about it. Every single time I go to an event, people speak to me about it, and it is the biggest mistake you can make in crypto. This is costing people millions of dollars. Matter of fact, it might stop them from changing their entire life, all based on one single mistake. Well, two, because if you've not pressed that like button yet, that's a big mistake. Now, all jokes aside, it's so simple if you get it, but the majority of people, they think they know it all, they don't want to look at it. I had a similar sort of problem. You think you're good at what you do, you think all is going fine, until somebody else points it out. And here, I do not claim to be a guru. Matter of fact, I'm not perfect in any way, shape, or form, but because I'm not you, I can hold you accountable a little bit easier. And I kind of wish that somebody did this for me as well. Now, of course, I've got it, so yeah, I just think it's fair to give it to you guys as well. So if I asked you right now, how to make money in crypto, what would you tell me? Now, obviously, I'm recording this as a video, so I can't really see what your feedback would be. But the majority of people say, well, you just, you buy coins. And I'd say the answer there is correct. Because we could say, yeah, you trade. Still, at the end of the day, buying coins and selling them for more. Or you might say you want to buy nodes. At the end of the day, it's all about getting coins and selling them for more, right? You could say, no, I'm only in it for the tech. At the end of the day, you're still buying coins. You might not sell them, but you're still buying coins then. The last one I can think of is your testnet farming. So you're not using real money. It's still fictitious, there we go, coins, which kind of crypto is completely like online, kind of fictitious if you think about it. Still all in the same bracket. So it's not about what, it's more about the specifics there. Because why is somebody else doing so much better than another person? And that's, ladies and gentlemen, where the biggest mistake lies. That one person is doing so much better than another is partially based on luck, a factor almost nobody has any control over. I mean, you can change your own luck a little bit, but to a certain extent, some people just get lucky. Their first day, they strike gold. You have them, but that's not what we're here about. We're here about people who are more active, and if we take the luck factor out, how can they improve their odds of doing incredibly well in a bull market in comparison to somebody who didn't really think too much about it? Or actually, that's not said correctly, and you'll understand why in just a second. To expand upon it, I personally think that a part of this mistake, which you'll find out the details of it in, as you keep watching, that the core principle of it is actually overthinking it. And that might sound strange, but I noticed a lot of smart people, a lot of people who have some big goals, they tend to overthink. They tend to look at a crypto, for example, and they really start analyzing the living crap out of it, which I don't think is bad, don't get me wrong. But did I tell you before that many of the people really in my own circle are not academics? They're not necessarily critics of sort. They're not philosophers who criticize anything. Most people are very easy and very much along the lines of, hey, looks good, we'll probably do well. And you want to know the fun fact? If you've got that approach, you're in such a good mindset for a crypto bull market, because if you've ever thought of yourself, no, I don't like crypto meme coins. Now, meme coins are stupid because there's no basis behind it. I personally think you're a very, you've got some brains over there. On the opposite side, though, it's worth like tens or hundreds of billions of dollars by now because, well, people seem to like it and it makes them money. And so the correct play would have been here to think it is kind of stupid, but hey, it's what the people want, and ultimately you go for what the people want because that's where the money lies. So to get to the mistake, to get to the bigger part, the biggest mistake that I see people making is overthinking and committing to one thing. I'm not talking about your relationship here. Specifically, there's a few, I guess, critical examples I can give here. If we take a look at the crypto market, for example, I've specified to you guys some coins that I am bullish on. By the way, the mistake has multiple parts because it's one key term, but it can be split up in a few things. A lot of it has to do with commitment. Some part has to do with overthinking. Some part has to do with diversification, and it all kind of converge into one. So when we take a look at this, I've said many different coins that I'm extremely bullish on, out of which some do well and some do eh. For example, there have been people in the comments section who have only committed to one coin, XRP. And even though, let's say a year ago, I was extremely excited about XRP, and multiple times throughout my holding cycle here, I've thought, hey, this could really be a big thing. And I still actually think so. XRP is in a pretty good spot. I've not been buying XRP for a long time. Now, why is that? People hate me for saying that, and I don't mind it. I don't blame them. And the reason they blame me, though, the reason they get angry is because they place their bets on one thing. They take up this idea of, it'll lead me to the promised land. This is it. And I personally don't play by that book. I go with whatever makes sense in that part of the cycle. And again, the idea there being, don't overthink it. Don't think, oh, there must have been massive plans made, so it's gonna do well in the future. You can do that with a smaller portion of a portfolio for in case you're actually right, which there's a good chance you are. I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm not saying you're actually wrong. I'm just saying, following the statistics, it is always better in a bull market to go for what's hot in terms of sectors. So for example, AI. You might say, oh, AI was so booming a while back, don't chase it. Why not? If every single time a sector starts trending, it does well for a good long while and does well throughout the bull market. RWA. Oh, we had a week of excitement. It's already over. But BlackRock is just getting into it, so it makes sense for that to continue on. I could spin up 10 different theses as to why payments in the crypto space will be the biggest out there. Because if you ask me, person to person here, what is the biggest thing that crypto can offer? It is everything payment related. And so your XRP, XDC, QNT, you name it, the HBAR head, the whole sector, theoretically speaking, those should be extremely valuable and precious. And people should want them because it makes much more sense than a little dog picture. Then again, if we're taking a little look at the markets right now, the dog picture and many akin to that are pretty freaking large. And so you might call me stupid, but I'm actually, for example, what about today? I actually bought a freaking ton of MIU because I noticed, and I'll post more on Twitter about that recently, but I noticed, hey, I personally think it's pretty undervalued and memes have been pretty freaking trendy. I noticed every single time it dips, it does pick up pretty nicely quickly afterwards. I'm going for it. Please, by no way, shape, or form am I saying go follow me. I'm just saying memes have been so trendy recently, and there are only two options. Either it full sends so crazy, which is done for a long time in a row now, or it basically goes to nearly zero as memes get nuked. But as Bitcoin right now is picking up the pace, I'm not looking for coins that are up like 5%, 10%. No, we're looking for crazy gains and things that people understand. That's why I keep telling you, AI, gaming, real world assets, those are things that people really easily understand. When you say payments, it's mostly infrastructure plays. It is mostly where the big institutions join the game and decide, yes, that or that. People, you and I, that just think of, oh, what is really popular? We think of way simpler terms of like, oh yeah, you see those games, because the retail, the ones that join in from not being in crypto at all, they start at memes, go towards games and AI, all these buzzwords that they've been hearing on the internet. They don't go as quickly for all these payment-related protocols or DeFi protocols. Then again, DeFi sometimes does really well because the people in the system know a lot of money can be made right there by protocol expansion. That's a little different story with DeFi. But here comes I guess the third kicker of my story of earlier. Most people that I've spoken to, when I ask them, which coins are you excited about? They name one or two or sometimes three. Almost never do I see people give me a list of like, oh man, there's too many. There's all these different sectors. And in those sectors, I have coins I'm excited about again. Why? Because a lot of people think you need to have one or two or three coins, commit, and they'll do well or not. It's not my style. Very often, guys, I've invested $1,000 into a coin I don't even know the name of. I've just sent them money. Why, you might ask? Because sometimes as well, and people can't comprehend this, but it turns into what? 400,000, 600,000. I know it can be hard for people to understand. You can literally turn $100 into $80,000 in a few months. It can happen. And you might be sitting on your $4,000 bag of whatever crypto you want, and it's not moved in a long time. I'm not saying sell everything, but in my own opinion, if you're just going for one, there's one major option really that you've got. And that is commit to the core by buying every dip and sometimes selling on the way up. Because at that point, you basically got to use more money than you've got by using leverage. My opinion, right? Every single time the price, let me show you by example. Let's say you started your crypto journey right here. Every single time the price drops lower, you try to buy, and with significant leverage, so every single time it moves up like 1 or 2 or 5%, you make a frick ton of money, you try to sell it. Because now you're a one asset monkey. I'm not trying to call you a monkey, but you know where I'm coming from. If you started here, for example, I'm not saying sell on the way up. I'm saying if you want to keep buying a crypto asset and your average price now, because you bought it at a shitty time, is now 75 cents, for example, you wait on the way down, you buy it at 58 cents, you buy it at here, 47 cents. So now your average price, let's say, is 58. And so now on the way upwards, you try to sell some of that again because you were over leveraged. It was more than you wanted, but that's what you, in my opinion, got to do if you're only committed to one coin to still make it out in a very, very profitable state. People do this with Bitcoin. People do this with hundreds of millions of dollars. Matter of fact, institutions are playing this game all day, every single day. I'm not talking about individuals with $100 million. I don't think that's happening too often. There's people doing it though. And you know it's even funnier? I often see comments of people saying that things are not possible, but I think if you've been in this space for as long as I have, and you see 18-year-old kids playing around with tens of millions of dollars, I think your realization of how life looks changes a bit, especially when you meet crypto billionaires that have really normal lives, or people that make millions of dollars a week for years. It's hard to comprehend. Anyway, but the lessons I've fetched from all this, and the biggest mistakes people making is just either they commit to too little assets because you don't know upfront which is going to go for crazy pumps. And that's why I always like to diversify. That's what go for different single coins. The second part is not thinking big enough. If you think, oh, I want to turn $100 into 400, it's actually not that hard. Obviously, there's a scale problem here that the more money you've got, the harder it gets, mostly on the mental side. If I've got $100, I can play the game a lot riskier, which will probably do well in a bull market, most probably, but I wouldn't play the same game with 4 million, for example, because if you lose 4 million, I'd definitely be a little bit hurt. Whereas if I lose $100, it's not going to do anything. I'd still not like it though. Don't get me twisted. I don't like losing $100, but I wouldn't feel as bad. I hope that's the case. So what's the tip here? Don't think you need to find the one right asset that'll take you to the Valhalla, so you need to commit to that. No, try a lot of different things you don't know. You know, the reason I don't sell any coin like 100% almost ever is because I've had it now. If you guys remember my SOLANA story, right? Where I invested thousands of dollars back in 2021 or so. It got down 90%, went to 1 cent, and then it went to $8. So an 800x almost within like 4 or 5 months after that. That story taught me I could have sold my little bag for, let's say, thousands of dollars. I don't know. And all of a sudden, a little bit after, it is worth millions potentially in just 4 or 5 months. $1,000 is worth $800,000 a few months later. For that reason, I sometimes think, no, you know what? I stick with them regardless. That's why I keep bringing you guys these $1 million bangers. Not because all of them will do well. No, matter of fact, a lot of them may fail. And sometimes I look at the comment section, people say, Dusty, that coin you talked about is really bad. What about that coin? If you really are in your head about just one coin or two coins, my friend, again, my thoughts is split it around, try to buy a lot because most of them do well, some will not though. And that's the thesis. You don't need them all to be bangers, but you go a little bit high on the risk scale because the market looks set for it. And I said before, most people that become billionaires always say you need a little bit of luck. And the luck here that we've got is that we are in such a good point here. The only thing that could go bad is if the bear market arrives and we thought it was a bull market, but it actually turns out it's not. And we just go down for days in a row, weeks in a row, months in a row. Yeah, then we're a little bit screwed, but that's basically the only negative side here. If that's not the case, then going for the strategy which I just described of go a little bit too crazy because this might be your only chance to do so is not a bad one. Once more, why do you think I'm buying... Why do you think I'm buying meme coins like Mew? I'm going to talk a lot about it, by the way, because I think I'm going to buy a ton. Because I kind of want to commit to more memes, because I know it makes money, and I know in bull markets they do so well, but it's just a scary feat. And myself, I make the mistake, like I said at the start, of thinking, oh, I should go with safe assets. If I'm holding Bitcoin and Ethereum by the end, it is only for in case of a total collapse. But I know from the bottom of my heart, it's not smart to hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all those top coins that have already gained a lot. It's better to go for small, crazy, degenerate plays, because that's literally, okay, I'll tell you one last thing. There was a crypto YouTuber, I won't say his name, who came up to me, I think 3 years ago. And he showed me how his account went from 1 million to 100 million in like, maybe let's say a year or so, maybe less. And I didn't believe him for, I think the first year or so. I always laughed it off and said, haha, look at the guy, what he showed us. Until later on, I realized it was actually true, which was, I think, maybe another year after that. Because obviously, I'm not a degenerate. You know, if somebody just shows me, look, I made 100, I don't believe that straight away. People lie all the time. But then, as I said, I found out verifiably that it was real. And it made me realize, how, when most people don't get anywhere close to that? And the answer, it might shock you, might probably not though, is because he went a little bit on the cuckoo train with some riskier plays, but in really, really good timing. And that translates over to going for altcoins, which the masses understand, committing to altcoins that are in a hot season right now, and not overthinking it. Not thinking, hey, well, my analysis should... You can do that, I personally think, if you've got a good team, or you really want to beat based on percentages. Meaning, hey, this protocol actually has slightly higher fees than that one. You're doing a little Warren Buffett in the sense of this is actually undervalued based on those principles. Might not matter in the real world, but if you've got good money behind you or good people around you, you can actually make a difference with that. I personally think it's not worth your hassle. Go for wherever the hype lies. In this market, it's just too easy. And again, I might get a lot of criticism for this video. And again, I'm not trying to get you guys to go to a freaking casino and just flip the coin left and right. I'm just saying we've got the timing for us. We've got the knowledge, as in we've been here for a long while. A lot of you guys have been watching me for years. We've been preparing for this for months, if not years, and we've seen everything that's happening right now before. So why not learn from the last cycles and keep telling ourselves, yes, it is time to go a little bit riskier, because otherwise you wish you had, but obviously hindsight is 2020.